Singapore's Defence Ministry has signed a contract for 2 more Invincible-class submarines. The vessels are expected to be delivered from 2034, adding to the current fleet of 4. Now, former Defence Minister Ng Eng Hen had announced the procurement during the Committee of Supply debates in Parliament earlier this year. The submarines are the same class as the RSS Invincible and RSS Impeccable, which were commissioned last year. 2 more vessels are on trial in Germany. The submarines are customized for operations in shallow and busy tropical waters and are operated by specialized submariners of the Republic of Singapore Navy.
The 4 current boats, as you know what they are called, are usually the minimal number of required to ensure a functioning force. Usually 1 will be in maintenance, 1 or 2 will be for patrol and training, and 1 on standby. With the 2 more boats, it gives the RSN more options to deploy the submarine forces in the near future.
The latest acquisition will take Singapore's total number of Invincible-class submarines to 6. 2 of these are already fully operational since last year, and another 2 will return to Singapore by 2028. The 70-meter vessels are armed with heavyweight torpedoes. They are also customized by the Defence Science and Technology Agency to navigate in shallow and busy tropical waters. The vessels can stay submerged 50% longer than the previous Archer-class submarines. The Republic of Singapore Navy submarine journey started in the mid-1990s when it acquired 4 Swedish submarines which were named the Challenger-class. Now, these vessels were all decommissioned, the last 2 in 2024. Singapore also bought 2 Archer-class submarines from the Swedes in the 2000s, and these will eventually be replaced by the Invincible-class subs. Now, for more analysis on what this means for Singapore's maritime defence capabilities, we're now joined by Dr. Collin Koh, Senior Fellow at the Institute of Defence and Strategic Studies at the S. Rajaratnam School of International Studies. Dr. Koh, welcome to the program. So, first of all, Invincible-class submarines.
Thank you so much, Anita.
These Invincible-class submarines, Dr. Koh, they are designed for operations in shallow and busy tropical waters. What role do they play in a Navy's defense strategy?
Yes, the underwater arena continues to be a very complex environment, and that presents difficulties for anti-submarine warfare. So the existence of 6 submarines definitely help enhance Singapore's naval deterrence in peacetime, and in wartime it helps to complicate the adversary's planning, and also it will help to enhance Singapore's defense posture as a asymmetric form of counter against a potentially stronger adversary out there at sea.
As we heard earlier, Dr. Koh, these are 70-meter vessels armed with heavyweight torpedoes. What more do we know about these new submarines being commissioned?
This submarine is customized. The Type 218 SG Invincible-class is customized and based on the existing ThyssenKrupp's 214. And because it's customized and it is designed to serve for a pretty long period of time, because typically for submarine, it could serve up to 30, 40 years. But today, given the fact that military hardware has become increasingly more expensive, what more for submarines, they're supposed to serve longer. And by the consequence, it also means that it has redundancy to be upgraded subsequently. Given the size, it's able to acquire more new capabilities on board as it goes. For example, unmanned systems or other mission payloads, like, say, potentially in the future, missile systems that can be launched from underwater.
We already have 4 Invincible-class submarines, so this latest addition will bring our naval fleet strength to 6. Why is it strategic for Singapore to invest in more submarines at this point? And how do they actually value add to Singapore's existing fleet?
The current context is very interesting and instructive as well, because given that right now there has been an ongoing ongoing submarine proliferation taking place in the region. It's not just Southeast Asia, but Asia writ large. Whether you talk about the Indian Ocean or you talk about, say, the broader East Asia, including Northeast Asia, there has been an ongoing submarine proliferation as well as, more broadly speaking, an ongoing naval modernization and build-up efforts taking place in the region. So the context here presents an opportune moment to actually acquire those submarines. And I think it's important to bring into context the domestic circumstances of the Singapore Armed Forces. It is a small armed forces and it is a shrinking manpower that we are talking about. So we require those force multiplier in order for deterrence to remain effective going forward. So having a sizable fleet of submarines definitely helps in these efforts as well.
So you were talking about the region, but amidst these unpredictable times, geopolitical uncertainty, how would the new fleet help the Singapore Navy punch above its weight and stay ahead of regional military superpowers?
Until the Indonesian Navy inducts its first lithium-ion battery submarines, the Singapore Navy's submarines, which are powered by a fuel cell air-independent propulsion, is right now at present within Southeast Asia a unique platform on its own. So it definitely helps in projecting some form of asymmetric deterrence. So if I could use that. And of course, going forward, as Singapore acquires more capabilities, then potentially, we might be able to enhance the capabilities on board the submarines by taking into account the latest technologies going forward. And that allows the fleet itself to keep pace. I mean, that is what. Very often we talk about the capability of the submarine itself, but having the right capacity is also important. So the capacity of, say, a small handful of, say, 1 or 2 or 3 submarines are not likely to be able to project effective deterrence. So having a sizable working fleet of 6 submarines, as was being mentioned by the earlier commentator, certainly will present a more convincing deterrence going forward.
All right, Dr. Koh, thank you so much for speaking with us tonight. Dr. Collin Koh, there, Senior Fellow at the Institute of Defence and Strategic Studies at RSIS. Thank you.